Doctor, usted hizo su propia regresión, ¿no?
Sí.
¿Qué fue usted en otras vidas?
Well, the first one I had was ancient. It was a Babylonian priest, and it was very exact, and I kept hearing the word ziggurat in my head. I did not know what that word meant, ziggurat. It's a word for geometrical shapes, like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon is a ziggurat. And there was a major magazine in the United States that put my picture on the cover and said, Babylonian priest with a big question mark. But there was a big lesson in that for me because I was not using that lifetime correctly. I was not being as spiritual as I could have been.
Tengo mensajes que me escriben, doctor, los oyentes, mensajes de texto. En uno me dicen, María, yo estuve al borde de la muerte y ahí tuve mi regresión a una vida pasada. Fue impresionante. ¿Es posible que una persona que está al borde de la muerte tenga regresión, doctor, más allá de que los mitos que dicen que se ve una luz cuando uno está en ese proceso en el que llega al borde de la muerte y después vuelve? ¿Es posible tener una regresión en ese momento?
Sometimes as people are ready to cross over to the other side to die, their bodies die, but not their souls. Their souls are already making the transition and they can remember other lifetimes. I have been friends with Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and Dr. Raymond Moody, pioneers in casi muerte experiencias. And my experience with people having regressions or dying, it's the same as the casi muerte experience. You often float above your body. Sometimes you can look down and observe the scene or the body that you have just left. And there's this beautiful light that's often very renewing. And the patients always say, it doesn't hurt my eyes. Even though it's very powerful, it does not hurt my eyes. And oftentimes there's a spiritual figure, like in the religion, or a relative, like a grandmother or a loved one, to help with the transition. But the only difference with the near-death experience, the person comes back into the older body, the previous body. But in the death experience, you keep moving on and keep learning on the other side. There's no pain there. And then you come back if you need more learning into a baby's body.
Claro, puede haber casos, a veces se escucha que gente piensa que una persona que ha muerto en su familia, un abuelo, además, esa alma puede venir reencarnada en un bebé nuevo en esa familia, por ejemplo.
Yes, it happens a lot. It's in that family of souls that I was talking about before. And that's when sometimes, I remember one case where a mother was in the hospital and she had just given birth and the baby was brought to her. And the mother's first words on receiving her baby were, "Oh, it's you again," because she recognized that was her grandmother. Yeah, we never lose our loved. We're always being reunited on the other side or back here again.
Qué maravilloso. Doctor, ¿hay indicios para saber cuánto dura la transición de un alma entre dos vidas?
It varies a lot because there is no time on the other side. So it depends on the needs of the soul for whatever it needs to learn. But they're not just twiddling their thumbs, or we have an expression like, so it can be immediately or it can be 30 or 40 or 50 years or more.
Tengo mensajes, algunos que hasta pueden resultar divertidos. Doctor, le voy a leer alguno. Dice un oyente, me gustaría hacerme el estudio de vidas pasadas para saber por muchísimos motivos si soy la reencarnación de Cristóbal Colón. Siempre tuve esa idea. ¿Por qué, doctor, uno puede tener la idea de que fue un personaje? O sea, una idea fija de que fue ese personaje precisamente.
No, there can be many reasons for that. Just like the Napoleon, it could have been someone who was on one of the ships or had contact with Columbus, even in Italy or in Spain or in the New World. But sometimes it's a metaphor. Discover the person who discovers new worlds. But the only way to know for sure is to do the regression, and then we would find the answer.
Y ahí podremos encontrar la respuesta.
I went to many books in all the religion. I found that reincarnation was a basic part of the Jewish religion. It's called Gilgul. I found it in the Catholic religion, as I mentioned. Yes, and many groups through the years, the Cathars, Albigensians, believing in reincarnation. The largest library of reincarnation in the Western world is in the Vatican. I found it in Hinduism and Buddhism and the Eastern religions. And on my website is a whole bibliography of books that I read. And I'm sure they're existing in Spanish as well as English.
Doctor, ¿se pueden curar o aliviar síntomas físicos y también emocionales a través de una regresión, como nos contaba Cecilia, esto de la desconfianza, del no creer en nada? ¿Qué cosas se pueden reparar en una regresión?
Yes, both physical and emotional. I mentioned phobias, and this is the easiest thing to repair, fears. But sometimes physical symptoms, especially pain and psychosomatical. She mentioned a lifetime in the time of Christ, and one of my most interesting cases came from that time also. It was of a woman in this life. She's very famous, a professional woman and extremely intelligent. And she was at a training that I was doing in New York. I went over 5 days. And in this life, she has severe back pain because of cancer and its treatment. And she had for 17 straight years, every day, severe back pain. She had to take heavy-duty pain medicine every day in order to even function in her work. And también durmiendo. And in that lifetime, Roman soldiers, she was a man, and Roman soldiers kicked her in the back, broke her back. And it's a much longer story, but in that life there was a healing, and it involved Jesus. And this bitter man who didn't believe in God because the Romans also burnt down his house with his wife and his child in it, finally found a person he could trust and believe in. And 2,000 years later in New York, her back pain disappeared after 17 straight years.
2000 años después, qué interesante. Quería preguntarle porque leí que usted alguna vez dijo que había que tener mucho cuidado si uno quería someterse a la terapia de vidas pasadas, con quién hacerlo, ¿no? De hacerlo con una persona realmente seria, porque incluso si este procedimiento estaba mal hecho, podía tener consecuencias severas para la salud psíquica de una persona. ¿Esto es así?
Not really severe consequences. But I think it's helpful to go to someone who's trained as a therapist, because it's very much like psychoanalysis. A great deal of material is evoked, memories and metaphors and symbols, and the therapist can integrate it, piece it all together.
Claro, tiene que interpretar el terapeuta y tiene que ayudar en la regresión.
So it's like it's like traditional therapy, but it's not more dangerous than psychoanalysis, and it's much shorter. Mucho barato también.
Mucho más barata.
Bueno, no le voy a preguntar cuánto cobra usted, doctor, pero hoy por hoy todavía tiene tiempo de atender pacientes.
I stopped about 1 year ago. I was doing a therapy for more than 37 years. I may look younger than I actually am.
Tal vez parezco más joven de lo que soy.
En broma.
Está muy joven, doctor.
Broma. Gracias.
Doctor, ¿usted atendió a Susana Jiménez, nuestra máxima estrella de la televisión, o ella asistió a su seminario solamente?
No, Susanna came to the seminar, and she introduced me at a seminar in Miami. She's very, very kind word.
Sí, también Madonna fue a su seminario.
I don't know if Madonna attended the seminars. I know she gives muchas vidas, muchos sabios to many, many people. But I've treated many very famous people too, and I find we're all the same. We have the same anxieties and fears. See, one is not different from anyone else.
¿Es posible, doctor, entonces, a partir de lo que cuenta Nerida, que cuando una persona tiene una relación muy conflictiva con alguien de su familia o alguien cercano, sea porque probablemente en otra vida tuvo un conflicto muy severo y tiene que repararlo en esta vida?
Yes, I love that you use the word repair.
Me encanta que reparar.
This is exactly it.
¿Por qué eso?
And Nelida's story is very classical, again, because recognizing someone through the eyes, this is often, I hear this a lot. And her mother's needing to make up to her for what happened in that lifetime. This is also common. And it explains fears and difficult relationships. I remember being in that region of France for the first time and having really negative deja vu experiences around the cliffs in the Ardèche region. I didn't know why I was having these feelings. Cerca Lyon.
Cerca de Lyon,
and,
¿no? También.
And that's where the Roman soldiers came and destroyed the Cathars, the Albigensians, by throwing them from the cliffs of their churches down.
Doctor, varias cositas. A través de los sueños se pueden realizar regresiones.